My name is Neha Chowdhury, founder of Walk to Beat. I'm product design engineer by profession and I'm currently doing my master's in marketing. So I chose this combination of marketing after engineering when I found the startup just to polish my entrepreneurial skills. I'm also currently on Lloyds Bank Social School of Entrepreneurs program. So it's a great platform to be at because you network with like-minded people and they do offer training for entrepreneurs. Walk to Beat, I feel, is like my baby because this was my undergrad final year research work that led to innovation and design. So I did my research into Parkinson's to find out what the disease is and what are the symptoms and what exactly happens. My main focus was the problems the patients used to face in their daily lives. So I came up with 13 design briefs that were real problems, and Walk to Beat is one of those 13 design briefs that I chose and carried forward to develop it. Briefly explaining about the problem and the product solution. So Walk to Beat acts as a cue to overcome freezing. So what is freezing in Parkinson's? Basically, it feels like their feet get glued to the ground. So when they're trying to walk further, they can't really step, and it can happen anywhere, anytime without a warning. So it leads to a lot of falls and injuries as well. From my secondary research, I found that Parkinson's is very individual. So different people use different cues to overcome that problem. Some people start counting numbers in their head because when they kind of have that sequence, they can step forward. It was interesting to know that doctors recommend patients to listen to music because that provides a rhythm as well. And I spoke to some people who actually use, like, they tape the floor in the places they think they can get stuck. So when they see a sequence, they can step. But things like these, they can't do in public. So that's what got me thinking. And I've been in contact with Parkinson's UK as well. They are the largest charity funders in Parkinson's in the UK. So they have their local drop-in sessions where patients come in and they get some support. So I used to go in there and I spoke to some patients and their family members. What I found was that more than the disease itself, it really affected them emotionally and socially. So people kind of avoided going out when they had to carry these objects that they call medical looking, and it makes them look disabled. So they didn't like the idea of that and like counting numbers and things in public. So that's when I started exploring into the concept of making it discreet and designing something for that. Walk to Beat is a walking stick with an innovative technology installed in its handle that gives out pulses. So you can only feel it, you can not see it or hear it. That's respecting the dignity of people. So my idea was to make it aesthetically pleasing. So that was my first prototype that I came with. The form does have potential to be developed further, but then I took this prototype out to test with some of the patients in the drop-in sessions, and I got quite positive feedback and people were quite happy. They could actually relate to the situation when they actually got frozen and how this could help. And the main idea was to keep this secret, that it gives a personal feel that you're out in public but you have this gadget to yourself and no one else knows what's happening, but it's there for you for overcoming the freezing. I took the prototype as a proof of concept to medical experts and hospitals up in Derby and also in Bristol Southmead Hospital, just to get some medical expert feedback. So they verified the concept that it works in medical ways, that how the vibration and the continuous beat can help them overcome freezing. But in terms of the prototype I had, they had some issues and they thought it wasn't complete because what it does at the moment was that once you turn the device on, the motor comes on and it just beats. So the problem with that was when the person actually freezes, they can't multitask, so they can't really turn the button on. So that was the automation that I required, and this sensing the pause that when the person is frozen was a really difficult bit to move on from. that's when I came to RIF at Bristol, and now I've got this much more functional prototype that does all the job I wanted to do with some more electronic development. So we've got the accelerometer here that's counting the steps continuously once you turn the device on. So what it does is the motor comes on as you turn on the device, and while the person starts walking, it senses that there's movement of steps. So the motor goes off. That means you're walking. And once the person freezes, the motor comes on again. So it knows that there's a pause. So that really helps the patient, and they don't have to fiddle with it on their own. And having this accelerometer installed means that you can record the data, so there's so much more you can do. Another thing that I wanted to get done and was part of the feedback I got was that it has to be rechargeable, obviously. So that's another development we did at RIF, and it's quite ready to go for further clinical trials now. I would say enhancing quality of life. Improving quality life of Parkinson patients by designing smart yet simpler products that are good looking, and for people like they have the stigma of looking disabled in public, so overcoming that by having aesthetically good looking but yet functional products so that they can use without being embarrassed and carry around in public. Yes, because I'm an incubatee at Bristol's robotics lab, and also engaging with RIF at Bristol, so I have access to all of this, all these robot hands here and other workshops around. So all of these facilities, it's quite well equipped, and there's a lot we can do here. Jill Burnett, the innovation manager at BRL, introduced me to RIF at Bristol, and I went through filling the application form that outlined my project proposal, and it went through the panel and I got approved. And then we set the agreement, agreed to all the terms and conditions, and the engagement started a week later. So that was pretty straightforward. A robust, neat and functional prototype, and some product development that included installing an accelerometer, recharging of the batteries, battery life, USB charging, and also developing the code a bit further so everything works well with the new sensor installed. Before coming to RIF at Bristol, as I mentioned earlier, I went to Derby Hospitals and I met with the research and development team, and based on their feedback was the development I carried with RIF. So they agreed with me for group consultation sessions where I can take my product, test it with the patients in the presence of medical experts as well. So that's what I'm looking forward to, and that would be my next step with this prototype. And also similarly with Southmead Hospital, I could take this brain center and test. So it's more about the trials, the clinical trials, and having this concept proved by people. And obviously it looks really bulky at the moment with the boxes of electronics, but that wouldn't be the end product. It will be much more sleek and, as I mentioned earlier, aesthetically more pleasing. So that's the idea of it, so people don't walk around with product that look medical. So that would be a future development on this. And with the sensors, as I said, there's a lot more we can do by recording the data. I filed my patent last year under my name, owning 100% IP rights, and it's protected till 2017. So that's safe. With RIF, it was quite clear between both parties from the beginning that RIF won't be claiming any IP rights. There's no such disadvantages that are faced with RIF, except at the moment today with the noise in here. That's because of the construction work going on next door. But otherwise, advantages. So it was really good mutual collaboration, punctuality, full interest in the project, and understanding. And I would say exploration of further possibilities, so they were not constrained to just what my idea is. So that was really good. Yes, I would strongly recommend, especially for any tech-based startup, because it's a great resource. I think the world is very global now, so a lot of things can be done wherever you are. So I think it's worth giving it a go, because a lot of negotiation can be done through emails and any demonstration could be done through Skype. So RIF at Bristol has really good resources and should be worth giving it a try.